All right, we are back here for round two of our OTJ Artisan Zombie League Megadraft top eight. Check out all that again. We are back here with Evan's deck against Ryan M. Unfortunately, he's not able to stream here, but we did note while looking at the pools that his deck looked very, very scary. Green white had to get six trained Arranks. So he did not have one here on turn two, but maybe he'll be playing one now. Um, Evan, we did see his deck basically do exactly what we thought it wanted to do last game, and yeah, what do we think about this type of matchup for Evan?
So, if I remember correctly, Ryan's deck was a bit different from Dan's mount deck. Trying to remember how.
Yeah, he
Oh
had like
yes,
three
three
buried in the
buried in the
garden.
gardens.
He had the six trained Arranks. All right, well, things are happening over here. Evan's probably like, oh geez, what is going on here? Um, But we did see Evan come back from a disadvantaged position, and I think those were fun games in the first round. So despite the unfortunate error with the packs in the draft, we are at least seeing why this format does have legs a bit. We got to see some cards shine that we don't usually get to see, right? So uh, always interesting for that. And no, Evan does have a nice little player of Take the Fall to eat one of the creatures, but pretty scary board so far here for Ryan.
Yeah, so I think for Evan, this matchup is actually remarkably similar to the Sawyer matchup of he's going to need to survive early aggression, and if it gets to the late game, Ryan's going to have no card draw and no way to really get back into it and no haymakers to draw into. So I think if it gets to the late game, Evan's going to have a huge advantage, but he's going to have to be resourceful in how he
If
gets
this is a
there.
snakeskin veil, Evan is in big trouble.
Ooh.
But
And we do know Ryan has two of them, the most of
okay,
anybody. Oh.
that'll also do the trick. Get away forever. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's also quite bad.
that card. It's like those like infomercials that I used to. It slices, it dices, it whatever you need it to do, it does it. Do you need to save your guy? Sure. Do you need to kill your opponent's gigantic threat? Sure. Do you want to reset an ETB? Can also do that. Like it's just everything. Such a nice one. I mean, we see Evan still a bit behind here. He does have the rooftop assassin to get back a little bit of life here. Um,
I'm surprised he didn't go for the jailbait scheme here. I guess he can't do that and assassin
I
on this
think
mana.
he's gonna try and eat this one and then put counters on the rooftop assassin.
Oh, of course. Yes, I agree. I think that's his best way back into the game. Obviously, Ryan could draw into Trash the Town or a
So
number of other things, but
now I can dump the Arynx on top of the deck so it can't attack, and he has a 3/3 that
mhm,
can attack past the 2/2 reach creature there, the Stable Master. So
right. I do think this is his best line to winning.
yeah,
Certainly.
again, Rooftop Assassin is like strangely one of the more important cards in his deck. Again, like the packs were a bit there was an error with some of the cards, but more power to something like a Rooftop Assassin. But Ryan does have all of the. I think he had two Lasso by the Law, three Buried in the Garden, one Journey to Nowhere. Dan ended up with a bunch of tethers, but Ryan ended up with all other varieties of these, what we call O-ring effects. And here comes that crab that we saw do so much work in the first round. But yeah, I was gonna say I saw Ryan
Oh,
mousing over his land, and
jeez.
I was like, I know what that means. I know what happens when a land gets highlighted in this format.
Yeah. So I'm guessing Evan's gonna end up bringing in fleeting reflections.
Yeah, so two swamps here
Um,
means a quick end. I was almost gonna say that this matchup is maybe even like better for Evan than the Sawyer matchup because Sawyer was going wide, which is it's hard to deal with without like sweepers or him going wide. And like here, if like Ryan's just playing like one threat at a time, the removal can sort of get it, but that getaway glamour really turned the tide
Yeah,
here.
I do think Evan has a lot more sideboard potential and a lot more potential to be able to stall Ryan than Sawyer. I think Sawyer could easily have gotten around him with a good draw,
So
whereas
immediate,
I
yeah,
think
immediately
you
sided
need
out.
quite a good draw Ryan
Immediately
here.
sided out all the Mourner Surprise, all the Lively Dirge, all the Jailbreak schemes. So he had two,
Hmm.
2, and 3, and they're all gone. In come Rope Masters. In comes. He's bringing back one Jailbreak here, but in come
So it looks like
the
that Visage Bandit was not in the original build. The Stitcher is, but
yeah. He doesn't have that many great things to clone, so I could see it.
I don't disagree.
Yeah. So all the Rope Masters are in now.
I wonder if you don't bring in Stop Cold here,
Mm,
just as a answer to a big boy that you know he has, but I suppose Buried in the Garden can just get rid of it.
yeah. Buried in the Garden is a big old problem here.
Yeah.
Basically, all these O-rings are
Be
just
buried
good
in two
against
acids
blue.
is tough.
When you're playing O-rings against the green decks, they have varmints and God forbid pest infestation in normal OTJ. But or even like the opposing O-rings, most of them can take out the opponent. So like the buried in the garden, lasso by the law, they can all take out the other ones. But against blue black, your O-rings are as good as gold. Like your creature's not, your enchantment's not going anywhere. So these Rictus robbers are probably going to be a bit slow here. I think they're just going to be slightly undercosted 4/3s.
I'm surprised, honestly, this was a snap keep for Evan without the double black in hand, or without two
If
swamps in
he
hand.
draws a swamp here, he can murder and then get his Rictus robber out with a token.
Yes, but he kept with only one swamp
Uh-oh.
to
Yeah.
a murder and an ashes, which I am surprised
And
by.
now he has no castable spells here aside from the fleeting reflection. And this Arix is going to attack right past the Rictus robber, and then I'm guessing
Mhm.
Ryan wouldn't mind trading off the Grizzly, or he could just play one of his infinite removals and just attack for 7 and put Evan in a real big mess
Oh.
here. Yeah, like I said, these O-ring removals are just so good against these decks that can never mess with it because it's just you get to have it. It's not going to get messed with. It's not going to get exiled. So he's leaving up the fleeting reflection here in case another removal shows up. But I mean, even if he does fleeting reflection, it's just like counter removal, but he still has to trade with a creature. So it's not like he's getting really back at the game with the fleeting reflection. I mean, it just means he's not falling further behind.
Yeah, I assume his best hope here is to get a land and try and get back in with Assassin.
Yeah,
It's definitely not looking good.
yeah. Ryan's deck was definitely one of the standouts, I think, from the decks we saw while looking at the pools. Just
And
based on
I,
the
I
amount of
think that makes sense without
gold
any of the
drops.
gold cards that just green white is the best deck and stays the best deck.
Yeah, it makes sense. As I understood it, I think in the regular Zombie League, green black was one of the stronger combinations, just
That's
because of the
correct,
recursion
yeah.
loops, Retstein, and the Badlands
Right.
Revival
And it
being
because that
huge.
equates to card draw, which was hard to come by.
Yeah, so yeah, Evan,
Mhm.
without the lands here, realizes unfortunately there's not much he can do. So, uh, unfortunately, a quick match here. But Ryan will be moving on to the finals, so we'll see him in round 3 in a little bit.